Hey guys, Urban Combat Survivor here. I'm going to redo this video because, one, I didn't realize the fan was blowing across my mic, and two, it seems like the last couple of minutes of that the video I posted got cut off somehow, so I'm going to redo it. This video is about why I chose an SKS Carbine rifle as the second weapon that I picked up for home defense and in case of some kind of breakdown. If you watched my video on why I chose my primary weapon, which is my 12 gauge, I had a list of criteria, and that list of criteria that I have is the same for any weapon that I have picked up or will be picking up in the future. So what it comes down to for me is I need a simple, reliable, cost-effective weapon that fires a very common round. All of those things are extremely important. I can't even list which one should go first or which one went first for me. It had to meet all of those criteria. I'll start with the rounds. One, there's a lot of guys out there that'll tell you only an AR-15 or only an AK-47 will do. I did a lot of reading, and I know some guys that have served active duty over in Iraq and Afghanistan, and one of my good friends was telling me that that the guys over there are asking, begging for rifles that are chambered in a larger round than the NATO 5.56 rounds. They just aren't stopping the people that are coming at them. So that weighed very heavily into my decision to choose the 7.62x39 round over the 5.56 NATO round. There are some extremely common rounds. So before even considering that, I narrowed it down to 3 rounds: the NATO 5.56, the 7.62x39, and the 308. Those are the 3 most common rifle rounds in North America. I ruled out the 5.56 because it didn't have the stopping power, and those people that were using them in combat situations aren't happy with them. So that left me down to something that shoots a 7.62x39, and I did a whole bunch of reading about it. What I came back with was immediately, if you look 7.62x39 up, you're going to get a bunch of stuff about an AK-47. And also, one of my subscribers actually asked me to respond to a video where someone with a lot of gun knowledge, a lot more gun knowledge and experience than I have, said, do not buy the gun that I bought, the rifle that I bought, and instead you should buy an AK-47. I disagree because of perspective, and I'm going to get to that at the end of the video, but first I'm going to talk about why I chose what I did choose, and at the end I'll talk about why I chose it over something else. I chose an SKS. The one that I picked up is a Chinese military Norinco. There are 2 Chinese SKSs out there. You can tell if the one you're looking at is military if the number is inside a triangle. That means it's a military rifle. So mine is. So that was certainly a bonus. It's not it wasn't one of the cheap produced commercial ones, although from what I understand they're really good carbines as well. So I chose an SKS because it's a very solid, reliable weapon. That's extremely important to me. It's something that I felt had long-term sustained reliability because it's so simple, because the way it operates is such a simple thing. One, I knew absolutely nothing about them. I was able to sit down, watch an 8-minute video on YouTube about how to break it down, field strip it, clean it, put it back together. At the end of that 8-minute video, I sat down, I stripped it, I cleaned it, I put it back together. It was that easy. 2, it was chambered for the 7.62 by 39 round, which is pretty universally recognized as the round you want in an urban setting and any kind of urban fighting. Shotgun and 7.62 by 39 are the good stuff. Like I said, the 5.56s. A lot of the guys I know that have been overseas and using these things just aren't happy with them. So there's that. The SKS that I picked up was all milled steel parts. It felt like a solid tool in my hands. I'm not someone that knows a lot about guns. I've been learning a hell of a lot, but I am someone that has used a lot of tools in my life, and I know the feel of a quality tool when I pick one up. And that SKS is a quality tool. I chose the Chinese SKS over the Yugo. I had those two options. I did a lot of looking around. I didn't just go to one place. I looked around a bunch. And I chose the Chinese for a couple of reasons. One, it's a lot lighter, which means if I have to carry this thing and I have to bring this thing to bear repeatedly over hours and hours, there's going to be less fatigue involved, which means I'm going to be able to be more accurate with it. 2, the Yugos are not only heavier, but they're muzzle heavy. They have this big block chunk of steel on the end for hooking a 22 millimeter grenade launcher to. Well, I don't have, nor do I anticipate ever having, a 22 millimeter NATO grenade launcher. So really, yeah, neat feature and all, but for functionality purposes, it just added extra weight to the end. And muzzle heavy rifles, they're harder to put the muzzle on target quickly and repeatedly. Also, it's a fatigue thing. That nose is going to start dipping as you use it for a while. So I chose the Chinese over the Yugo personally. If you have a Yugo, well, you can remove, from what I understand, you can remove that the grenade attachment to the end fairly easily. And the Yugos are well-made guns. So if that's what you have, no worries. I'm not saying you have crap. I just chose the Chinese one because it felt better in my hands. Which brings me to confidence. When you choose a weapon, I think you need to choose something that you're comfortable with and confident in. Because mindset is very important. If you have something in your hands that you're not confident in, this is why you need to go to the range. This is why you need to practice with your weapon. If you're not confident, you're basically a sitting duck. You don't want to react and be all jittery, and you want to go to the range. You want to fire this thing. You want to be comfortable with this thing. You want this to be a tool that you've already formed some muscle memory with, in my opinion. So getting a weapon that had cheap rounds, the 7.62 by 39 rounds, while not only are they more effective than the 5.56 rounds from everything I've read, and most importantly from people in theater that have used the two, but they're cheap as hell. They're cheaper than the 5.56 round. So it's a better shell, a better cartridge. It's got more power, more stopping power, and it's cheaper. So good stuff all, in my opinion. So I chose the SKS because it met my criteria. It fell within my price range. It was $275 for the gun, which means that for $500 I was able to pick up the rifle, a couple accessories for it, a cleaning kit, a sling, and I was also able to pick up 500 rounds of ammunition and still be under $400. I actually picked up 1,000 rounds, but that's a different topic. I was also able to order, an SKS uses stripper clips rather than regular clips. What that is that's that metal bar here. These bullets slide on and off of that. And what you do is you put it into the top of the rifle. I'm not doing the review on the gun itself right now, so I'll go over that stuff when I do the review and I crack out the good camera to do a good review on it. But so it has a 10-round magazine capacity. It's got a fixed mag. You can buy aftermarket ones, but I will not, and here's why. One of the other criteria I had when I picked up my shotty, I picked up a nice wooden grandpa gun. It's got a wood stock, and it looks like Grandpa's gun. This SKS also has a wooden stock. It's not a really intimidating looking AK-47 assault rifle, but it's very clearly a rifle on silhouette. So while it offers the intimidation that an AK-47 is going to offer if someone's rioting out front and they see me holding that thing, if I ever did have to use it, there's a mindset that goes along with seeing a pimped out AK-47 or a pimped out assault rifle in some kind of manner. There's a mindset that goes with that. There's an intimidation factor that goes along with that that isn't present. So if I ever had to use that to defend my home, and a jury ever had to look at that gun, it's not this really intimidating looking machine that looks like it's made just for killing people. The SKS honestly can be a very effective hunting rifle, and I actually plan on using it that way this hunting season or next. So it met my criteria for reliability, simplicity. Less moving parts means less braking. That's one of the other reasons I ruled out the AR. Too many moving parts for my personal taste. So it's reliable. The ammunition for it is extremely common and extremely cheap. I felt confident holding that rifle in my hands. It's well made, and I'm happy with my purchase. Now I'm going to talk about why I chose that over the AK-47. If you can afford to go drop $700 or $900 on a nice milled steel Russian or Polish AK-47, then, you know, by all means, if that's in your price range, go for it. But for me, the cheap one that was within my price range is a Romanian AK-47. Romanian AKs have stamped parts. That means they're sheet metal that's kind of stamped into shapes. The receiver and all the parts, metal parts on that gun, basically except for the barrel itself, are stamped sheet metal. As someone who's used tools all my life, I can pick up a cheap tool and know it's a cheap tool, and it just feels like a cheap tool to me. So I overruled choosing that because that was what was within my price range, and it shoots the same rounds as what I'm shooting now. So it's not more powerful, and actually the AK is actually a little bit less accurate than the SKS is. I don't know anybody that hunts with an AK-47 because they're so sloppy, but there are lots of people out there that hunt with an SKS. So I'm not disputing any videos that may say always go AK over SKS. SKSs are junk, whatever they've said. I'm not going to argue that. I think perhaps, though, they haven't looked from the perspective of price point. For $450 for a stamped junk AK, and if you do some research, there's a lot of people that say never get one of those because they're garbage. So if you can't get a good one, if your price range is down where mine is, I felt the SKS was a better choice. So if you have one of those Romanians and you're happy with it, if you're comfortable and confident, great. I wouldn't have been, though. It just felt too cheap to me. So I hope that helps. I know a couple people were waiting for this video. I'll do a complete review on both my SKS and my shotty. I'll crack out the good camera and do that soon. So Urban Combat Survivor, signing off.